One of Kentucky's most intriguing new ads for next season is the Alabama transfer Mo Diabate. He obviously has played at a very high level on great teams in college basketball and at times been a thorn in Kentucky's side. But we finally are hearing a little bit from Mo himself on how he made it from Alabama to Kentucky and what it means to join Mark Pope's program. He was on BBN Tonight and gave a long form interview here. So shout out to BBN Tonight and then KSR for covering this. But I'm going to read you Mo's quote on what it means to him to be a Kentucky Wildcat. This is the quote, "It still feels like a dream sometimes. Kentucky was my dream school. To wear the jersey, to play with it, it's like the best thing that could have happened to me so far in my life. I always tell guys, don't ever think you can't achieve a goal or something. I even doubted myself for a while. I didn't think I could play here." End quote. Obviously, this is the type of kid Mark Pope loves. He's outwardly said as much, right? He wants kids that understand what it means to play at Kentucky. Mo Diabate very clearly does that, says it's his dream. But I'm fascinated by the last bit of that quote. I didn't think I could play here. I doubted myself for a while. What are your thoughts on the way Mo Diabate is approaching this upcoming season and what it means to be at Kentucky?
Well, look, I think it goes a long way for Mo and honestly Coach Pope, like having pride in wanting to wear the Kentucky jersey and play for that program. And I think that even even after Coach Cal has moved on, obviously there is a little bit of like Kentucky's Kentucky. We say it all the time. Like there's a that jersey, that name, it holds so much weight in the college basketball landscape. And there's definitely a large amount of kids who would dream about growing up and playing for Kentucky. Now maybe they grew up and dreamed about playing for Coach Cal at Kentucky, but at the root of it, it's about playing for Kentucky. And to me, this is just Diabate kind of being a little bit or not even a little bit. He's being very transparent and I think correct. And I don't think he was necessarily the most skilled guy on those Alabama teams. And there was games where I thought he played a lot, or games he didn't play a lot, but like he was always just this hard worker. And to me, he just kind of encompasses that guy that will outwork the next guy. And maybe he lacks in some other basketball skill areas compared to others, but people also don't work as hard as him and don't do the dirty work and do the little things like he does, which I think got him to the point where he's at and got him on the floor for Alabama and in some big spots. So, I don't know. He just kind of strikes me as that type of player that he is, a little bit grateful to be where he's at and realizes that, he had to work harder than the next person to get where he's at.
Yeah, I think this is the type of kid that like just Kentucky fans naturally gravitate toward. Every fan base is different, if not, I don't know, equally passionate at times. But we
Well,
know what BBN is,
yeah,
right?
also, you know what mold this guy is going to fall into, I think.
What mold?
He's that one person. He's the person who next June I'll be bringing up about Cohen Carr shooting threes against.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like not in the same sense of a player, but I'm saying like maybe that player that the fan base will defend to the death that he's more important than maybe he actually is.
Okay, I hear that. At minimum, this is the type of kid Kentucky fans just adore and want to root for, right? There is an element of that. Mark Pope, in his first couple of years, has prioritized veteran guys with the right mindset, with the right approach that are fun to root for, that are just easy to like, right? Last year's team was full of those guys. And I think this upcoming team is going to be full of them even more. I understand, like I would never be a good Kentucky fan, I don't think, because I think the things they care about are things I don't care about with my team, and that's fine. Um, but like wanting to die for the name on the front of the jersey just isn't necessarily the highest of my priorities. I don't know, but I get Kentucky is different. They're the biggest brand. It means more there. I 100% appreciate that and acknowledge it. Mo Diabate cares. He is one of many guys on this roster that I think probably feel similarly to what he's saying here. Like it feels like a dream. You could probably go up and down the list. Jalen Lowe, bet it feels like a dream. Denzel Aberdeen, bet it feels like a dream. Jaden Quainton's probably a dream. Cam Williams, a dream. The second part of the quote, though, is what I kept saying is really interesting, right, Cart? Because I didn't think I could play here. You're telling me the kid that just played 16 minutes a game and averaged 7-5 for an SEC program less prestigious than Kentucky didn't think he could play at Kentucky? This video is brought to you by NBA 2KLab.com. 2K Lab worked with us last summer as well. They're one of our favorite entities in all of sports gaming. We want to show you their college basketball stadium locator challenge game. And I'm going to share a screen right now as we do this. South Carolina, bang. Oh,
Ooh,
okay, that's pretty good. Next, North Carolina. Why are we only getting the Carolinas?
please
Bang.
lock in.
St. John's, that's New
New
York.
York.
Bang.
Where's New Jersey?
We're on fire. Colorado. I actually don't know what state Colorado is.
It's it's in Colorado. There's a state of
Is that
Colorado.
this one?
It's to the right of Phoenix.
Anyway, you get the picture. This game's really fun. They've got more games as well, like Guess the NBA Player, Mystery Fantasy Draft, and more. Stay tuned for all of the college football content and games that they'll be putting together to help you get the best experience out of college football 26. Back to the video. Why would he think that? Is it because he played 16 minutes a game and averaged 7-5 at a program worse than Kentucky? Like, should we do Denzel Aberdeen next? And I understand they're the defending national champs, but like he played 19 minutes a game and averaged 7-1. You think he was thinking while he was the seventh guy at Florida that he would start at Kentucky next year? Like that's part of this. And it's part of what I've kind of harped on and gotten pushback on is that many of the ads this offseason are going to need to outperform what they've done previously at lesser schools at Kentucky for this to work. And it probably will work because Mark Pope is a genius, but it's part of why I haven't fallen in love with the sexiness of this roster, right? Jalen Lowe is the guy who has the gaudy numbers. Jaden Quaintance is a lottery pick projection. I can see it with those guys. Everybody else they brought in is a role player. Everybody else averaged less than 10 points a game last year. And yeah, truly, if you go through that list of guys, Aberdeen, Dioubate, Cam Williams, certainly Reese Potter, those guys are probably shocked that they're at Kentucky because nothing they've done in their careers really warrants being at Kentucky. This is a bet by Mark Pope that he can unlock them and get more out of them. I bet that he will, but I'm not surprised that Mo Diabate is shocked that he's at Kentucky, you know?
Yeah, I mean, look, like you said, he played 16 minutes a game, averaged 7-6, and every game I watched, he was almost fouling out in that 16 minutes. So it's like, yeah, there definitely is a little bit of like they probably were somewhat just caught off guard that like they are at Kentucky and things like that. And look, I think that worked last year with their team. I feel like they had some guys on that team too who were like, holy shit, starting and playing for Kentucky. I'm Andrew Carr. Like there was probably a little bit of that last year, even though Andrew Carr was successful at Wake Forest. But like to that point,
Andrew Carr is significantly more productive than Mo Diabate.
no, he is. But I'm saying, but there was probably a little bit of a shock factor that those guys were actually playing for Kentucky.
Sure. Yeah. Well, the mystique of it all, right?
Yeah.
Even better players than these guys we're talking about would still feel that way with the mystique. But I don't know. Look, you and I think we are role players in the college basketball media realm. We are probably Grant Darbyshire and Walker Horn. Honestly, we're not even as big as Mo Diabate in our own space. But the point is, like, if inside the NBA was like, come host inside the NBA, I'd be shocked, right? Like, I don't feel that I deserve that, but cool. This is my dream. I think there's an element of that here. And again, I'm not betting against Mark Pope, but it's just sort of interesting to hear some of these guys actually say it out loud, you know, because it's very honest from Modi Abate.
Yeah, and also, what did you say to me the minute I pulled the uh I can't believe I'm here moment?
Oh, we need to act like we belong here,
Yeah.
even if we don't believe it.
Yeah, when does that do you think Mark Pope is saying that to these guys?
I mean, I guess Yeah, actually,
Honestly, I bet you he will. I bet you there'll be a moment, and they ain't gonna show this on Kentucky All Access, but uh, there's gonna be a moment where like Mark Pope's like, if y'all don't like get y'all head out of y'all asses and stop acting starstruck, you're playing for Kentucky, like tighten up right now.
I mean, I guess that is a way to interpret this, either as a Kentucky fan or even if you're coaching Mo Diabate. Like, if you hear him say out loud for a while, I didn't think I could play here. Aren't you like, come here? Don't say that shit out loud.
Yeah, don't say it out loud, or I'm gonna make it come true.
Right. But that's not the way Mark Pope operates, though. So
At least that we don't know. What do you think he's like with that mic off?
you think he got some Mark Pope shit to him moments behind closed doors?
He cusses.
You think so?
He cusses. Yeah,
He doesn't strike me as a cusser.
he ain't Hubert. He cusses.